Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 people who had one job and failed. We all have jobs, but this doesn't mean that everyone does their job well. Whether it's something tricky like parking an airplane or something easy like painting a sign, these people had one job and failed. Get ready to laugh out loud and even be shocked at these people. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for top 10s, and comment done for a shout out at the end of our next video. Coming in at number 10, we have irony. Who doesn't love some hilarious irony? Well, one person who had one job and failed created perhaps the most ironic photo ever. The photo was taken at the College of Architecture and Planning. This is where architects would learn how to design buildings and avoid making any mistakes. But the sign of the college is what's so funny. As you can see, they didn't plan this out well, as the sign doesn't fit on the wall. This meant they had to curve the sign around, as the C for college is on the other wall. The irony here is this is a school all about planning and designing things for buildings. But despite this, the school obviously didn't plan this sign out very well, as it doesn't even fit. If I was an architecture student, I'd avoid this school thanks to this blunder. I'm really surprised they didn't redo this, as this is surely embarrassing for the school and everyone in it. Next up is plane landing. Unlike putting up a sign, landing a plane takes a lot of skill. But if you're an experienced pilot, it shouldn't be too easy to mess up. Well, it must have been this pilot's first day. Somehow he ended up landing the plane on the highway. This was near the airport, but clearly not quite near enough. Luckily, no one was hurt, including anyone on the highway. The only thing that was likely hurt was the pilot's career. Yeah, something tells me he won't be going back in the air for a while. I guess the pilot must have some skill to not injure anyone while doing this dumb landing, but in some ways his landing outweighs this. The image of the plane's landing went viral as it looks so bizarre. The photo then inspired many memes, such as that moment when you realize you're not playing GTA. And of course, you had one job and failed. The plane was a Northwest Airlink plane. I couldn't find any exact info on the plane's poor parking job, but I assume this is one terrible mistake. Next up is Slide of Doom. As kids, we likely all loved playgrounds, whether it be the poles, jungle gyms, or slides. With all these activities, kids are bound to get hurt from time to time, but it seems one park is keen to toughen up kids who visit it by any means necessary. This slide was spotted in a park in China. The slide goes down like any other slide, but at the end is a seemingly bottomless pit. I have no idea where this goes, perhaps Australia, or maybe the center of the earth. But wherever this hole ends up, no doubt it would hurt. And if you look to the right, you'll see another hole underneath one of the poles. Did Charles Manson design this playground or something? I just hope any kids who may have fell down these holes eventually got rescued. Remember kids, always check where slides end up before going down them. Next up is coffins. They're something you'd probably need after going down the slide of doom. People who transport them must be very sensitive. Not only is it carrying somebody's loved one, but they also must show a lot of respect. But for one coffin company, it looks like they just lost a customer. Literally. A driver snapped this photo of a man who was transporting a coffin. He slammed on his brakes instead of braking gradually. This caused the coffin in the back of his car to fly out the back window. I just hope no one was in there. Not that they would have minded, I guess. The family, on the other hand, may want to get a refund if they knew this happened. I wonder what the driver said when he pulled up with a broken back window. Yeah, that'd be awkward. Next up is Pop-Tarts. How do you start your morning? Breakfast, right? And what could be a better breakfast than Pop-Tarts? They're very appealing with flashy packaging and colourful photos. But one store seems to have something against this tasty breakfast food. Instead of labeling the Pop-Tarts spelt pop, they labeled it P-O-O-P tarts. This doesn't conjure up the best mental images when you look at the Pop-Tarts. Not only is this going to affect Pop-Tart sales, but the stores too. I think the worker who did this should really change his role at the store, because labeling is obviously not for him. Not only that, the label also says as advertised. I sure hope this is wrong as well, because nobody wants to eat poop tarts. This is why double checking your writing is so important, as you can avoid embarrassing mistakes like this. Next up is Frozen. Frozen is one of Disney's most successful movies of all time. Not only is it one of the highest grossing with over $2 billion so far, the merchandise is also huge. Well, one piece of Frozen merchandise wasn't exactly made with care. A ball was found in a store which had the Frozen logo and a character from Frozen. It features the character Anna, Elsa's best friend, but something about her isn't quite right. Like many balls, air needs to be inserted into it, so there's an air hole. But most balls with designs plan where they put their air holes. On this ball, however, the air hole is right on Anna's eye. This is bound to scare any kid who might play with it. So if you'd like to creep out your kids and ruin one of their favorite characters, then buy them this ball. Next up is school. School is a place for learning. People learn math, art, reading, and writing at school. But one painter probably needs to go back to school. Many schools paint school on the grounds outside the school. This is to warn cars about speeding around where school kids might be playing. But it always helps when the sign is actually written correctly. The reason why I say this sign painter needs to go back to school is because he misspelt school. This must have been super embarrassing for the school, as it makes them look really dumb. Not only that, this is the sign every parent sees when they pick their kids up. Talk about bad advertisement for the school. Maybe they hired a super cheap painter thanks to budget cuts. But who knows, maybe they will fix this sometime. The only thing I know is I would love to see the principal's face when he realizes this was painted. Next up is safety first.
Safety is #1 priority.
We already know the rule in many places is safety first. And one of the ways buildings try and keep people safe is by installing fire hydrants in many places. But no matter how safe you try and be, one dumb piece of engineering can ruin it all. In this building in China, there's a pull to open fire hydrant, but it would take the Incredible Hulk to pull it open. This is because it's trapped behind metal railings to help people get down the stairs. This is an example of a safety mechanism causing danger. Something tells me the guy who did this graduated from the College of Architecture and Planning. Oh, sorry, I meant college. But this has to be one of the dumbest designs ever. The builder who did this should really hope a fire doesn't break out, or he might find himself in trouble. It would technically be his fault if anyone got burned, seeing as the railing and fire hydrant are in the dumbest places I've ever seen. Next up is back to school. One thing no kid likes is finishing summer and going back to school. And it seems like one store worker agrees. We all know back to school sections are popular in stores because moms buy them and make the store a ton of money. But one store worker would have other ideas for what kids would need in school. Instead of the regular pens, pencils, and notepads, one back to school shelf was full of knives. I know going back to school is painful, but this is an exaggeration. Well, maybe not if you go to the school with that sign. Or the College of Architecture and Planning for that matter. In fact, it was the first day back at school for Americans today, so maybe you guys are feeling the need for some of these. But seriously, don't bring knives into school. Unless of course you're using them to take down that terrible college sign. Some people actually complained about this, saying they thought it could be a danger. But as in most stores you have to be a certain age to even buy a knife, I doubt this would be the case. And of course, this makes it even more dumb to have knives in the back to school section. Next up is fire. In some areas on the roadside, there are fire engine areas which are marked out. This is usually in big bright yellow text saying fire, but one person seems to not know how to spell. The letters are sprayed individually, but it seems the stencils must have been mixed up. That is because on this road, the letters say F-R-I-E instead of F-I-R-E. This is a hilarious sign fail which sure made me laugh. It could be dangerous if a fireman is equally as dumb, but I doubt that's even possible. This fail is almost as bad as the school sign, as the stencils were also in the wrong order there. Perhaps the guy who painted this had just woken up, or perhaps he'd had a little too much to drink. Hey, I'm just trying to make some sense of this ridiculousness. This has been snapped many times and has gone viral as it's so dumb. It's safe to say this painter had one job and failed miserably. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you can vote for the person who failed the hardest. I think it's the fire sign, because that is literally a 4-letter word. You'd have to be so dumb to get that one wrong. But if this video has proved anything, it's that people can be super dumb. Whether it be knives in a back to school section or a plane landing fail. This video shout out goes to Kira Maymay. Subscribe and turn on notifications and comment done for a shout out in the next video. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.